Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Guys, first of all, we removed the frame. Let us know what you think about that, or if you want us to put one back in but maybe a smaller one than the previous ones. But I thought I'd bring out a bit more of the screen just from a few comments out there. But I wanted to also say thank you very much for all the support to the channel that you guys have given. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'm absolutely smashing for it. We love this journey. We love being a part of it with you guys out there all over the world. It's crazy to see where people are watching us from. It's quite overwhelming in some ways because I just did this for a bit of fun with Steve, just with our passion and enthusiasm in this space, all the different learnings, all the different projects, different kind of real world applications that these kind of things are going to bring to the table. But like I said, thank you so much, and let's try and get to the 4,000. I think we're on track for the end of this month, maybe even getting to 5,000 by the end of November. That would be unreal, because I think we only started really in June or something, July, properly. But there's lots to come, guys. Live streams are coming soon. We want to get to maybe 10,000 before we start doing that properly. And we get some Q&As, we'll do some AMAs with you guys and just get some proper interaction. Might even start doing some call-ins and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. And we'll do some like live streams and stuff. But guys, thank you so much. I just thought I'd pinpoint that before we go into today's topic, which is the ultimate sandbox. Okay guys, so not going into massive detail because we've done intros on these anyway, but top line is very much a bit like Minecraft kind of feel to it, but a lot more robust and engaging in my opinion. I think there's so much to do in this game, from various different characters, different games within the game, and this whole aspect of buying land and everything like that. But I wanted to talk about, we'll go into a few more of these examples of the game footage shortly, but check this out. So I was just rushing through and I kind of thought in my head like, okay, right, I used to hold Decentraland and Sand, a lot of it, but I sold it all in the run that we had early this year. I have no regrets in doing that. I should probably have kept bags. That's the only regret I have, but that was a lesson learned. I'm not jumping back into it just yet, but that might be a silly thing to do. We'll go into the chart after this sort of intro kind of bit anyway. But look at this. I thought that was staggering. I wanted to see like how much money has perhaps been spent. And I came across obviously the OpenSea, which is essentially the back end of how you can purchase land and NFTs and objects and customizations, all this sort of stuff for the Sandbox game. 36.6 thousand Ethereum has been traded within Sandbox. Guys, that's $164 million. And I nearly fell off my chair when I read that. That is absolutely insane. Okay, so there's loads of different lands available. This isn't just from land, by the way, but we'll go into this in a second. But I thought that was absolutely mental. So when we go into the chart, I'll kind of maybe explain a bit about, is it too late to get into sand, or is it not? What's coming basically? Because there's this whole aspect of the metaverse drawing in, and there's going to be opportunity in the future in the virtual land to be able to jump in and out of different worlds and different lands and different games. And Sandbox is for sure going to be one of those. And the beauty of these kind of games is very much ownership for the people. And that's what I love about blockchain gaming, because it's relatively decentralized. Yes, of course, you're going to get some commercial aspects on there as brands really pick up on these kind of games and want to get involved in that aspect. We've seen that a lot in Decentraland, a lot of artists, a lot of gaming brands, especially like Atari joining in. But for Sand, it's such a cool concept, and I would like to actually enter into this game. I think what I might do is some live streams, perhaps, of setting the game up and jumping in, seeing what it's about. Maybe you guys will join us on that journey. But we'll see how that goes. We might set that up actually maybe towards the end of the month. But look at this, just from right now. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Can you imagine? Let me just put this into perspective, guys, right? There are people out there, and please let us know if you are one of them out there in the comments below. Have you bought land or objects in this game? Don't need to know how much, because I don't want to go into a whole thing where, just don't ever mention how many bags you've got of stuff. It's not good. But just let us know if you have done so. I'm really interested to know, and your thoughts and opinions on the game. But this is crazy. Just the last hour, all this money, 84,000. Can you imagine? Right, I can't imagine, because I don't have that amount of money yet. I know I will through crypto, maybe even this year, definitely, for sure. But let me just say, could you imagine telling someone on the street, yeah, I've just bought some land. Oh, really? Wow. Oh, God, where have you bought it? Oh, digital land. It's virtual land. What were you talking about? What utter nonsense are you talking about? Yeah, I bought some digital land. For that much, for 84,000. I mean, how much money do these people have? It's absolutely mental. I don't think I want to. 118,000. What is going on? That is crazy. And I know this is just like one game. I'm sure in other games people are buying things left, front, centre. I don't know what Blocktopia costs are, but this is ridiculous. But as ridiculous as it is, I'm a gamer. I've been involved in esports and gaming for a number of years through my career and stuff. I get it. Like, I've been opposite the table where people were being paid like $20,000-$30,000 a week playing games. I've been on board meetings where people spend $20,000 a week on games because they want to keep themselves at the top of leaderboards. And I'm like, sorry, where has all this money come from? And it's play to earn. It's the emphasis of esports and gaming in general. So I totally get it. But it's just still mind-blowing how much money is being spent daily, weekly, monthly. Absolutely crazy. And in the real world, guys, of course, we buy land and stuff, for a multitude of reasons, if you can ever get the opportunity to do so. And it's one of the best investments you can do. But the way the world is going, and I truly believe in the emphasis of like the Ready Player One mentality, that as life goes on, guys, and we talk about a lot of things like the World Economic Forum and stuff in the background, but I want you to sort of think ahead, like the way the world is going in terms of this potential like two-tier society, and you kind of thinking like a lot of machine is coming in and AI is taking over, and you're kind of like, well, what do the people do? And it literally come to the point, in my opinion, I'm not saying like immediate future, but certainly in the future, I generally believe we will go into a full-on tokenomics society. I'm in like play to earn activity. I know a multitude of people right now who have quit their jobs and literally just do play to earn as their living, and they're making a lot of it because we're so early in this game, the game of life I'm talking about. So I totally understand the actual people's mentality. Don't know where they get the money from still, but I totally get the mentality behind owning land in these kind of games. Now look at this, for example. NFT Metaverse platform Sandbox has continued to rally following the announcement of $93 million Series B funding round led by SoftBank's Vision Fund 2. Like, Animalica Brands, that rings a bell to me. I'm sure they're involved in a lot of other things, of course, as well. I'm gonna have to look into that for maybe the next video. But the game's, that's the game's parent. That's why I know it. That's very silly of me. So yeah, the game's parent company. Read the sentence, Simon. So this is quite crazy, really, to accumulate that kind of thing. We see here. Additionally, Sandbox has added several key advisors to its team. Those are producers, franchise right, games knickers, order manager, and brand curator for Snoop Dogg. Very interesting. Meta, of course, we talked about Mark Zuckerberg previously. I don't like their version. I think it would be very centralized. I would be cautious about entering a Facebook-orientated metaverse, in my opinion. But of course, as we mentioned earlier, the whole aspect of Sandbox, Decentraland, many other projects absolutely flew. So I've got a lot of engine. Axie, of course, Wax. So loads of big names there. But I think it's incredible, guys. This news article is obviously a bit old now. I think, I'm not sure what day it was made. It's November 2nd. But my point being is the understanding of where this money is going in. And the game itself is absolutely incredible, because there is a developer platform here as well that you can really generate proper objects and create your own. You can essentially create your own NFTs and all sorts on here, buy them, sell them on the marketplace. It truly is an essential, phenomenal outing, because it appeases to gamers, but also appeases to people who are learning coding or developing that. This, in my opinion, would be an absolute gem to be teaching and educating kids in this day and age, because I know for a fact, like in the UK, of course, coding is becoming a very big topic at school level and stuff. But I think they should be really enhancing partnerships, or at least Sandbox should be on the reversal, operating this in educational levels, in my opinion. I'm sure they might be doing it in some aspects as well, of course, but imagine learning at a young age all this kind of aspect, and what we could be dealing with in 20, 30 years as the generation grows up, what our worlds or virtual worlds or gaming worlds will look like if people at that age were able to learn this kind of thing straight away. I think it's phenomenal, and I'm very passionate about gaming. I'm not a massive nerd about it, but like actually probably am. I've got pretty much every console in the cupboard and on the shelves and stuff. I get the SNES out every now and then. I've just literally bought. So I've been waiting ages, right? My mother and father, bless them, gave me some money for my birthday. Very nice of them. And I bought Super Mario Kart, and I've been waiting ages to get it, but couldn't really find it properly. I know I can, but I like going to like CEX and gaming events and stuff and finding retro games. I don't just want to jump on eBay. There's something in my mind that makes me want to go and find these games at old school places, kind of thing. There's a lot of stores I used to go as a kid, but they're all gone now, which is a shame. But I like that retro mentality. So I love the concept of Sandbox, and I think it's absolutely incredible. Of course, from an investor's perspective, you've got two opportunities really in this game, because one, not to play the game, you're just investing in sand because of its demand to buy land, and we're just clearly seeing how much money is being thrown at it, which of course reflects the the price in certain aspects as well. But then you've also got to purchase sand at great prices essentially right now compared to what they probably will be in the future, to operate the game yourself. Whether that be now or in the future. And obviously land is probably one of the greatest things to be purchasing virtually right now across the board, and that's my genuine opinion. I think I haven't done so myself. I've just literally learned how to buy and sell and make NFTs with a couple of guys that I work with and stuff. But look at this, like the total supply of, what was it, 3 billion here. Circulating supply currently, so this is, as CoinGecko said, the amount of coins that are circulating in the market and are tradable by the public, comparable looking at shares, blah, blah. So you got 892 million is in supply. So it's already racking downwards. And you imagine in the future, this concept of running out of this sand token makes things in the game even more expensive. Land, NFTs, objects, because now all of a sudden there aren't that many to mint or anything like that. That's where the tokenomics aspect comes in. Now, of course, I can't remember if they can still mint sand tokens or not to increase the supply, but generally speaking, that's the theoretical maximum as coded. So there is an argument to say that they could potentially add to that to keep a fairer system. But getting in these kind of projects early, and I still think it is very early. I think the awareness will be massively kicking up. Clearly, people like spending money on this. And I just think there's so much more to come from this incredibly interesting game. So, like I said, it really treats two mechanisms of people out there. The investor from the sand aspect of just generally holding it and selling it with no emotion or any necessity to play the game. And then there's holding sand or accumulating sand to purchase elements of land in there. So I just thought I'd bring those kind of points to your attention. Sorry we're waffling on a bit here, but I think it's a fascinating project, and I'm looking forward to seeing its further development. So guys, let's jump into the chart where we can talk about this in a bit more depth. Smash that like button if you're enjoying what you're hearing or seeing. Obviously, subscribe as well if you have not done so already. So we're looking at this price, guys. Now, obviously, we had the Metaverse kind of announcements around here, and then the kick up as well. It's crazy, really, because, and we'll just reiterate this before we go into a macro level. This jump in general, 362%, was absolutely phenomenal. Now, like I said earlier in the year, I did sell some off. I was literally buying sand at silly prices down here somewhere. We got up to these kind of points. What am I doing? Yeah, that's around there. So I got up to these points and I sold a bit off. So yeah, it was probably a bit early for me to do so, but can you imagine if you were down here? In fact, let's just draw that up here. So if, let's say you got in earlier this year, let's say in January sometime. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. 3,200%. 3,200%, guys. That just shows you. And it's definitely actually that pinpoint, lesson learned. Since that time I sold them all and I learned of its, increase over that time, it made me, when I'm selling, to keep hold of some bags as well. I was always learning along the way. So, every cloud. But here we are with sand. Would I buy sand right now, personally? Not right now for me. I have interests in other aspects, but I would definitely be saying, like, of course, we're on a bit of an uptrend right now. Might be looking for a bit of a correction, which we'll look at in a second. If you really want to save, 20 cents, 30 cents here and there, whatever. But generally speaking, guys, I think this is still massively undervalued, not just from a bull run perspective, but I mean the actual project itself, the actual game itself. Like I said, with the supply and demand of the token in general, but the supply and demand mechanism within the game. It's really important when you're looking at the gaming projects that you really understand the game, in my opinion. Don't just follow charts. You really need to get the intricate detail behind what the game is about. What's its mechanism, obviously the tokenomics, but also the roadmaps and things like that, and all the partnerships. You really get into the game, and actually maybe in some cases, not all the time, but if you do get a chance to download the games and get involved, because then you have an understanding of it. And I totally get there's a lot of investors out there who couldn't care less, and that's absolutely fine. But either way, you should still do your research, especially intricate detail research in gaming projects. There's a lot to learn quite easily, to be honest, just from even an hour or so of learning from them. So what can we observe right now? The RSI is 68, so I think there's plenty of room left in the tank, but I'm still not convinced the full correction may still be over. We just look at the histogram down here. We're in a bit of a selling mode right now, but that is very clear to me right now that a lot of holders out there, a lot of believers now in sand, they've seen this generic rise, they've learned about the metaverse, and generally speaking, I don't think you can see gigantic corrections. We're seeing probably now a new relative price point based on what we know in the metaverse situation, the gaming situation in general, and general awareness of this game in particular, because we were floating down here at 80 cents for so long and people were always like getting bored of it. And I was like, well, I think there's going to be some increase in the chart anyway. But then, of course, that metaverse jump up just happened. And I think now we're just trying to achieve, what's our new support mechanism. And do bear in mind, you've got these back points here and up here. But you could argue that since this level around here on the 30th of August, we've been very much in a big price discovery mode. So we've had this kind of drop down here. We've now taken it back up already. And I think we may get a bit of a false trend here, because what you'll have is probably people that missed out on the opportunity to sell up here, and now we're gearing up to this. As you saw, a big trend up yesterday, taking it to a high of $3.19, and it shot straight back down again. So I think what you're going to get here is quite a bit of resistance in the sense of a lot of drop-offs, because people have missed out these areas, waited, now it's come back, take it again, and then we'll start seeing maybe a bit more of a dip before a big take up again, in my opinion. So let's see how that plays out. But I think, like I said, the RSI is still looking like it wants to do some good moves. The MACD here that you see on the orange and blue is very, very slightly, I'm going to see if I can zoom in a bit more, it's very slightly in a bearish momentum still right now. This is why I think we're getting a false trend in a bit. We may come back down to test this area here, but there is an argument. There is an argument in my mind to say that anything from this sort of $1.20 mark and upwards to these kind of points is something that it could come down to. Now, like I said, it's really dependent on the actual justification behind where the game is. I generally believe like 80 cents was massively undervaluing this game compared to what it should will be in the future and what it should be right now. So I don't anticipate it to come all the way down here, but you've got to be wary of these moves, not in the short term, but in the longer term as well. But we of course are entering the bull market in general too. So this kind of emphasizes my point that we may see a small correction before a big tail up. And then of course in the bear market potentially, I say potentially because I think a lot of projects won't have the full whack of bear momentum into winter market mode because of the adoption period that we are in. Okay, if you follow many old stocks like Amazon and stuff and you follow their patterns of growth, of course for the first few sort of trend cycles, yes, absolutely, but when it was adopted it tended to not drop down as much as it used to. So just take these into consideration really when thinking about this. But I would personally and do you know what, I might actually do this myself via Binance. I would definitely be interested in this area again. If it drops down, I probably should have taken advantage as it came down to that area. What was that? A low of 203. I would definitely be looking again around this particular area, around the 248 and maybe a lower region of the 209 again, just so we can see if we can get confirmations of these potential areas that we've hit here and of course down here as well. And I would be very, very cheeky actually to consider something around this region, but not short term. I think that would be something that happens in a period of time, could be in a couple of weeks or so, or it may not happen until the bear market. But that's my areas of interest certainly right there. But let's see how that plays out. Let us know what you're doing with your sand tokens. Have you been holding, selling, buying? Are you using it for land? What did you think of this big move? Did you make any indicated sell or buy modes in this big move that we had? Let us know your thoughts. And the indicator down here on the right hand side that you can see, and probably actually for the first time you'll be able to see the technical indicator down here as well because I've removed the frame. We're in a big strong buy mode here. So again, my point being, me entering right now would be a bit silly. But let's see how it goes. 6% up on the week, year to date, 7,800%, absolutely incredible. And everything is all tickety boo with sand right now. So that's kind of my reflection. Of course, I think if we do jump up to these areas, you're going to definitely see resistance. As I said, people have missed out on this area, but generally because you tend to get a bit of resistance at the previous all-time high mark anyway. Which is a staggering 346 if you think where we were only a few weeks back. It's crazy. But then the next leg up, once we break that all-time high and get support there, we could be looking at bigger jumps to 458 and potentially to 550. Where can sand go at the end of this year? Well, there is an argument, and a lot of people did reflect on this earlier this year, that we could see above $10. I think that's possibly achievable if the narrative continues for sand, its roadmap continues to produce, and of course the metaverse narrative continues as well. But in general, I don't think that's not something that would not happen, because I think, just as I said, the momentum of the game, the popularity is going to continue to kick up. So if I was given a price prediction, I know the fib retracement is sometimes a bit of a guideline, but I would be very interested in something around that $10 mark, and certainly having some sell indicators just below that and above it. Let us know what you think your price prediction will be for both the end of the year and the end of the bull run. EOBR, right? Yeah. But yeah, there is a possibility that we might shoot up to near enough $15. But let's see. I'll do a bit more of analysis on that in the next video. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've learned a bit more about sand and some more observations, as well as some chart potential movements in the coming week or so. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.